Let's get some insights into that project now. Gabriel Negatu is the Regional Director of the African Development Bank in East Africa. He joins us now live in studio here in Nairobi to talk about the Lake Turkana Wind Power project. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Negatu. The $149.5 million, where exactly will it go into this wind farm?
Hi, thank you, Rama. Well, the $149 million that's been approved by the African Development Bank, plus an additional about $145 million yet to be syndicated shortly, will all go towards the largely building the wind farm that's required to run this project. So it's the building the wind farm and related infrastructure cost, in addition to the direct cost of the infrastructure. Some of this money will also go to build the road connecting Turkana, the project site, with the main thoroughway. So there's about a 210 kilometer of road that's going to be built. So it's the infrastructure, the engineering work, the road work, all of that will be financed through these resources.
Let me take you back to October 2012, Mr. Negatu. The World Bank at the time declined to provide guarantees for this particular project, saying that the way the tariff deal had been structured would essentially put an onerous burden on the main transmission and distribution firm in the country, KPLC. Is this a position the African Development Bank shares?
Well, no. The simple answer is no. The African Development Bank, plus several other partners, including the government of Kenya, the sponsors of the project, the Ministry of Energy, and several other engineering firms have looked at this project for several years. And I think that the primary difference in our conclusion is about how we look at Kenya's energy appetite in the coming few years. The way we see Kenya, with the growth in the economy, we see a robust appetite for energy in the next few years. And we are certain that the supply and demand, as it currently stands, will not be able to meet Kenya's demand for energy. Therefore, we decided to proceed with this project after having done the serious due diligence required for this. And the second point, Rama, is that even should Kenya end up producing more energy than it can consume, we are working on what we call the East Africa Power Pool. This is a power pool that's going to connect countries in the East Africa region. Right now it's Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, DRC, part of the East Africa Power Pool. And hopefully we're going to connect the East Africa Power Pool with the Southern Africa Power Pool. So any energy, surplus energy that's produced in this region will be evacuated onto the transmission line and be sold all the way to the southern tip of the continent and well into the central regions of the continent. So the concern about Kenya having excess energy and paying for energy that will not use, we don't share that analysis and that conclusion. And that's why we have come out on different sides of this project.
Indeed. Let's talk about delays with power projects in the country, because this has been a recurring complaint from power consumers and, of course, other players in the power sector. Lake Turkana Wind Power project is especially dependent on one particular line to get its power to the grid between Suswa and Loyangalani. How exactly is AFDB hedging against the risk of a project delay here?
Well, it's not so much the AFDB hedging the risk. The government of Kenya has issued a letter of guarantee for this project, but more so than anything else, I think, look, we have been in the business of building transmission lines and supporting transmission line construction for many years. In Kenya alone, we have perhaps just today we rolled out the Ethiopia-Kenya Energy Superhighway, over 1,000 kilometers of power grid and transmission lines. Therefore, we are not concerned about the possible delays. But to be on the safe side, though, the sponsors of this project, the Lake Turkana Wind Project sponsors, are working very closely with KETRACO to ensure that the right-of-way required to construct the transmission lines are in place. And if you look at the reasons for delay in any transmission, it's either access to land, right-of-way, or financing. In this case, we have both those essentials covered, so we are not concerned about any possible delay in the construction of the transmission line.
Indeed. One last question for you, Mr. Negatu. AFDB is also investing 348 or so million US dollars into that 1,000-kilometer line that you mentioned. Could you just, for the benefit of our viewers, explain how that fits into the East African Power Pool project?
Absolutely. For us, we look at this as a regional initiative. We look at East Africa as one big energy pool. So you've got countries that have potential for hydro. Take Ethiopia, for example. Take Uganda. You've got countries like Kenya that have potential for geothermal and wind. You've got countries like Tanzania that have potential for gas and so on. So we look at the entire region as one and look at the diverse energy pool, and then begin to work on a framework that will allow energy surplus countries to be able to evacuate their power to energy deficit countries. Once this whole region becomes energy self-sufficient, then by connecting it to the Central Africa Power Pool and the Southern Africa Power Pool, we are creating a robust energy market that will allow countries in this region to buy and sell energy. And Kenya, of course, will be right in the middle of that energy market.
Indeed. Thank you very much for your time this evening. That's Gabriel Negatu. He's the Regional Director for the African Development Bank. He was in studio talking to us about key projects that the AFDB is funding right here in East Africa.